What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Now, I hope you had a good weekend this past weekend. Hopefully you had some fun, got out, played some games, maybe went out and did some other stuff. But hopefully overall it was pretty stress-free and easy, since now we're back to the week for going back to work. But we have a bunch of stuff that happened over the weekend, a lot of cool stuff. We did some fun stuff here on this channel as well. We took a look at the semi-rare Neo Geo X, which is pretty cool because it's a portable hybrid unit, very similar to the Switch's idea. We also had our weekly spawn cast where we had Sean from RGT 85 on, had some fun there, and we made the Switch dock smaller and even painted it purple. So if you have not seen any of those videos, go back and check them out. We had a lot of fun. But guys, now we have some news to talk about, so let's get started. The first thing to talk about today is kind of interesting. For one, we've been talking about the Xbox Scorpio a good bit recently because it's been kind of hard to grasp what they're doing. Well, one of the big things that apparently a lot of people are concerned about is that the parity clause between the two would cause an older 2013 console, like the regular Xbox One, to hold back a much more powerful 2017 console in the Xbox Scorpio. Well, according to the lead engineer at Xbox, that's not going to be the case. So what happened was a fan asked Mike Ybarra, who is the lead engineer at Xbox, what's going to happen when this older system starts holding back this newer system? Because you guys are making developers keep everything parity across the board, right? And this is what he had to say. No, there isn't. This is up to the developer to choose for their games what they want to do. He went on from there to kind of talk about how, look, if the developer wants to push frame rate on the Scorpio, they can push frame rate. If they want to push resolution, they can do that. They can mix and match. They can play around with the Scorpio's power however they want. And if it's 30 frames on the Xbox One, it doesn't have to be 30 frames on the Scorpio. It can be 60. I think what they're worried about here is that everything will be the same except for the 4K resolution, even assets. In this case, he's saying, no, these games can look a lot better and run a lot better on the Scorpio as long as they still run on the Xbox One. As long as it still works, we're good. And I think a lot of people assume that what's going to happen with the Scorpio is they're going to have just all new, just brand new games for this system. That's not going to be the case because it still shares the same CPU. It still uses the same Jaguar CPU across the board. So you're not going to have anything too fancy. That's the big reason that we're seeing Destiny 2 still probably be 30 frames on the Scorpio and the Xbox One because the CPU is a limiting factor for them. And of course, in some games, developers probably want to keep the frame rate the same, especially if the multiplayer is competitive. But the good news here is you can expect games to look a lot better, and you don't have to worry about that original Xbox One holding things back. The Scorpio is going to push visuals that are much better than the Xbox One, so buy with confidence there if you do want a true 4K experience with a new system. The Scorpio looks like it's for you. And I just talked about Destiny 2. That's actually going to lead us into our next topic here, and that has a lot to do about Destiny 2. If you miss it, they had their whole live stream. They showed a lot of stuff off, and pretty much over the last 3 to 4 days, the entire internet has been all about Destiny. Like, everything about Destiny, because people are pushing for interviews, they're getting answers to questions that they had, and it looks like the Destiny, they should have hired some PR people and not just sent developers there, because they answered some questions in ways that they probably shouldn't have, that I think really made some people frustrated. So let's start with the first one. They were pressed heavily by IGN, which good job to IGN because they did push these questions heavily. They didn't settle for those flaky answers. They got straight answers from them. And the first one they asked is, are there going to be dedicated servers? And the developer says, no dedicated servers, which is a big issue if you consider the fact that they might be trying to make this a competitive multiplayer. Now, you can still get away with what they're trying to do, which is a peer-to-peer network where one person hosts the game, everybody connects to that one person, and then you play. But in an esports type arena, if they try to actually make this competitive, it's not going to work because then one person does have the definitive advantage because they have pretty much zero ping. Everyone else is connecting to their game on their local machine. But really, the weird thing is, he says the problem and the reason they don't have dedicated servers, it just wasn't in the budget. And at that, when I hear budget, I say, it's not in the budget. Are you sure? Because Activision claimed they made over $1 billion on the regular Destiny. I'm not really sure how there's no budget for dedicated servers when games like Battlefield have dedicated servers. They've had dedicated servers for a long time. Why don't you have dedicated servers for Destiny when it would make the game way more even across the board? That part didn't make any sense to me, and I hope there really aren't budget constraints, because that tells me they're cutting costs in certain places and dedicated servers might not be the only place. From there, we do talk about frame rate, because if you missed it, the PC version will have an uncapped frame rate, which means it will be well above 60 frames if you want it above 60 frames. But if you want 60 frame experience, you will get it on the PC. However, when it comes to consoles, 30 frames per second is what their target is. Simply put, it won't work well on consoles at 60 frames. And they did press them further on this question too, and it was an odd answer. Apparently the CPU in the PS4 and the PS4 Pro is holding Destiny 2 back. Apparently the GPU in the PS4 Pro is strong enough for 4K, but the way that their physics rendering is on the game itself, the CPU is a limiting factor and is a bottleneck. Apparently they cannot get 60 frames with that Jaguar CPU, which means the Xbox One probably is going to stay the same, obviously, and then the Scorpio, which is using the same processor, probably going to also be 30 frames, which I guess is a shame, but really, if it's going to be the same across the board, I guess that's fine. At this point, it's becoming more and more clear that the PC version seems to be the one that they wanted to build first, or maybe they did start building that one first and they started moving it over to consoles, because it seems like the more I hear about the PC version and the more I hear about the console version, the PC version is clearly better for Destiny 2. There's way more options, uncapped frame rate. Seems like that's the way to go. And probably the best question and answer was about the Switch. And this is something that I think set a lot of YouTubers off over the weekend, because I saw some of these videos pop up about how Destiny 2 could be on the Switch, but it's not, and it's not coming apparently for a bad reason. And I think this is the question they really could have used that PR person for, instead of have a developer who is used to developing the game answer these questions, because this is a question that is not for them at all. They ask, why isn't Destiny 2 on the Switch? In response, they say some very weird stuff, but essentially they say, listen, it won't work because it's a portable unit and we don't know if it'll always be online. And to an extent, I think I understand what he's trying to say here, okay? I think he said it poorly, but what they're trying to say here is we can't always guarantee our game will be playable at all, okay? Because without the internet, you cannot play Destiny 2 at all. It needs an internet connection. It needs to be stable. Some people are like, oh, use your hotspot. Don't use your hotspot. Please don't be that person. Hotspots do not give you good ping. They give you like 200 to 250 ping. I know this because I tried using one 2 weeks ago and it did that. 200 to 250 ping. Please don't be that person in the room with the yellow to red bar. Please don't do that to me. Rocket League is too fun for that. But still, the options should still be made available, because consumers will still play Destiny 2 at home. They don't have to play it on the go. I think this person thinks that a person's gonna walk out their door and continue to play Destiny 2 and expect it to work. And if they do expect that, then they'll learn very quickly that that's not how Destiny 2 works, and they'll move on with their life. They're not gonna go complain to you or send you, I would hope not, questions and answers as to why this is happening. You know, why can't I play Destiny 2 when I'm not at home, when I'm not connected to internet, despite it probably saying it requires internet on the front. Do you know why that's there? It's because people don't know these things. I've sold so many Destiny 1s to people when it first came out. No idea you need the internet. They don't have the internet. So they come back trying to return it, the thing's open, what do? We can't take it back. This was an actual problem. That's why it says requires internet on the front. Unfortunately, consumers don't know enough right away, and they learn as they go forward, because now those people won't buy Destiny 2 if they don't have the internet, because now they know. But the big problem here is there are games going to the Switch that are online only. Dragon Quest X has been harped on heavily. That is an online only game. Some people say Splatoon 2. That has single player though, so you can still play it while you're on the go technically. Whereas Dragon Quest X, you really can't play on the go because you need a stable internet connection. So yes, I understand what he's saying. Worded poorly. Give people the option. You know what, if they don't want to play it on the go, they'll play it when they get home. Not a big deal. Next time just say, hey, the system's still young. We will think about it next year when we inevitably release the same game for $60 with a tacked on expansion. And guys, one of the big games I've been waiting for to come out on the Switch now for a little while since we saw its announcement is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. And some people may be a little confused because you can get it now. Yes, I have it, but man, it would be a lot of fun to be able to play it portably on the go with the Switch. I think I'd pour more time into it if I could play it anywhere in my house, really, if I play it upstairs or anywhere else, because it is a game you do some grinding in, obviously. Well, it looks like we're gonna have extra features added on for the Switch version, which is awesome, and this was tweeted by Bandai Namco US over on Twitter. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 arrives on Switch in fall 2017, features ad hoc play, motion controls, 2-player battle on one system with one Joy-Con each. So yeah, it looks like it is coming out this fall, which is awesome. I'm very happy that's coming out soon, and definitely this year. That's great. It sounds like it's not going to be pushed to holiday. We will see it probably September, October, which is great. That's actually sooner than I thought it was going to come out. I was almost positive it's going to be a late November, maybe December release. Good to see that. I'm not really keen on the motion control thing. I just don't care that much. But it's great to see that you can do one Joy-Con each for 2 different people, and you can just play on the same screen or on the TV. That's what the Switch is all about. It makes sense. Any fighter that comes out now that has same screen fighting or same screen co-op should use the one Joy-Con. I think that makes a lot of sense. And local ad hoc play is awesome. This is a big time co-op game. It's great to know that you and a buddy can kind of hang out and really run through some of these missions together in the same room. It's a great feature as well. So yes, I'll be getting this on release day. Definitely, this game looks awesome. Like I said, I've been playing it already. I have it on the PS4, but I do think I would enjoy it more if I could play it portably. And the last bit of news, guys, comes from Platinum Games. Yeah, remember Platinum Games, the guys that had Scalebound canceled on them? Well, it looks like they're not done this year because apparently they're working on a new IP. This was talked about over at Bit Summit, the big convention going on, that was going on the past couple days. This is, of course, by Atsushi Inaba, where he talked about how, hey, we got something going on here, guys, and we'll let you know soon. Now, he can't say much of anything about this new intellectual property, just that it's, in his words, formless. I'm not really sure what that means. But it sounds like they're working on something new that they themselves have conceived, not something that somebody has come to them with and said, hey, we'd like to make this game. How can we do it? Now, that's not to say it's not maybe, I don't know, something that has to do with Scalebound, since they had most of the assets. Maybe they cut a deal and they could take those and use those assets in their game. But it sounds like they're still very much in early development. They did talk about how they are having a new director working on this, and this looks like it could be awesome. They also didn't say what system it's going to or what their plans are for release date. This could be, say, a Switch game. It could be a PlayStation 4 game. It could be an Xbox game with Windows. Who knows? All we know now is that the very talented Platinum Games have their eyes set on something new. I think most of us are pretty excited to see what it is. That's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about anything we talked about today, whether it is about Destiny 2 not going to the Switch. Maybe you're frustrated with their answer. Go ahead and just let me know down in the comments. I'm curious. Or maybe you are getting that PC version because the console version just sounds so gimped out. Let me know what you think about the parity between the Xbox One and the Scorpio, or what you think Platinum Games is working on right now. Do you think it's a Switch game? Do you think it's an Xbox game? Do you think it's a PlayStation game? I am very curious. They're very talented. I would love to see what the minds over there are coming up with, because I have a feeling it's going to be pretty good. That's it for now, guys. I will see you next time.